Hello and welcome back to the Cryptic Twist. I'm your host Alex Jones, and today we're looking at a cryptic crossword from the Mail online website for 30th of May. Here we go. One across. Notice speech showing reverence. I'm not seeing it, so let's see if we get any crossing letters later and come on back to it. 8 across. Italian family held back by Thai family. Okay, so I think I can see this one. Now, as a reminder, every cryptic crossword clue, we're going to have in there somewhere a straightforward definition. It will be, literally describing the word that we're seeing. Sometimes it's going to be very plain. Sometimes it will be a little bit oblique, maybe, but it will be a fair definition. Also in that clue, we're looking for a second version of a clue. We're looking for maybe a second definition. We're maybe looking for a piece of wordplay. This clue is wordplay. So I think our answer, our definition is Italian family. The question then is, well, what is held back by Thai family giving us? And the words held back here, with wordplay, we're always going to be looking for positional wording, things that indicate something is before something, after something, in something. Here, held back by is indicating that this is a hidden clue. Within the phrase Thai family, we've got a 5-letter word that means Italian family. And the extra twist is the word back. We're going to look for that coming backwards in that phrase. So if we treat Thai family as a string of letters, within that we can see coming backwards here, M-A-F-I-A, Mafia, which is a slightly oblique, it's a euphemism, I guess, isn't it, for an Italian, or Italian family is a euphemism for the Mafia. Okay, and that gives us 3 crossing letters. We've got a short one here with an A, partway through, and a long one here with an M. Let's have a look at this one then. Harvest in Yorkshire, apparently. Actually, this is a really good next clue to go to, because I think the word in here is again indicating a hidden. So we've got a word that means harvest, and that is going to be in Yorkshire, apparently. Now, it's possible with this wording, we could be looking for something else. We could be looking for something that means Yorkshire, or something like Yorkshire. The word apparently there kind of saying Yorkshire might be an example of it, or it'll be something you'd think of it with Yorkshire. What we're going here though, like I say, is a hidden. Within Yorkshire apparently we have R-E, there's our A, and then P, so reap. If you reap something, you harvest it. We can look that one up in the dictionary. Reap, to cut, gather a grain, to harvest. Yeah, absolutely fine. We've got 1 crossing letter now for up here. We have this as well, another down clue with the F. Let's try that. Guards, fed up with tips. So, again, let's look at positional words. Up could be positional. With, maybe. So, the way I'm reading, the 2 ways I think I can read this clue are, 1, the with is just joining the definition and the wordplay together to make it into a phrase, in which case we're probably looking at either tips, the one word, being our definition, and guards fed up being the wordplay, or maybe less likely, guards fed up being our wordplay, being our definition, and tips being maybe a second definition. Because guards fed up doesn't feel like it could be a single word by itself. Or maybe the with is not indicating, maybe it's indicating something. So maybe it's fed up with tips. And the word up here is also can be positional. So instead of having the word fed in a down clue coming down, we could turn that the other way up. We've got an F here, so I like that, having fed that way. So then can we think of a word meaning guards that starts D-E-F? And also of note, guards is plural, so it's reasonable to think of a word that might end in an S. And at this point, I think we're also saying, well, tips might go after that. It might be DEF with a synonym for tips. And I think a tip of something might be an end. So we're going with ends, defends, guards, feels reasonable. Got some more crossing letters here. Very small can with yellow front. So what is positional here? Again, we've got with. We've got a new word here as well, front. And I think yellow front might be giving us the front letter of yellow. So if we're saying that that is part of the wordplay, one, it's at the end of the clue, so it probably comes at the end of the word. But that means that probably very small or very small can is going to be our definition. Now, if very small can is our definition, and we've got this Y here, then we'd want a word that means with that goes here, and I can't think of one of those. So I'm going to say that with is just joining can, which is what we've got, which is probably another part of the wordplay, to our Y. I think the first thing to try here is, does the word can work? Can caney mean very small? No. Okay, well, can we think of any synonyms for can? I think a tin can feels reasonable. And the word tiny, unlike caney, can mean very small. All right, what else have we got? We've got two early letters here, so I'm tempted to use this. Still lost in some confusion. Confusion can be an anagram indicator. So we might be looking for, and again, that comes at the end. So if our definition is likely at the beginning, then our definition might be still or still lost. To get 10 letters for our anagram, we need to be using lost in and some. So our definition is probably still. And we've got the M and the T in some and lost. So what could this be? Let's give this a think for just a second. What could still mean? Still could be that something is steady, it's unmoving. It's used to still alcohol, it's a distiller. It's something that remains. There's lots of definitions of still, aren't there? I'm not seeing it at the moment, so again, I think we might come back. We do have an S here, so what can we do here? Mollusk, providing world of opportunities. Okay. So the kind of positional and wordplay indicators here, I think, are providing. Providing feels like it could be a very good joiner. So we might have a word that means mollusk, and maybe a word that means world of opportunities. And also of note, there's a question mark at the end of world of opportunities. That might mean that, it might just mean they're trying to make the phrase feel natural, and they can only do it with a question mark, asking it as a question. It might be that it's something that maybe is a little bit odd as a definition of world of opportunities. And I'm thinking of the phrase, the world is your oyster, which an oyster is a mollusk. And if the phrase, the world is your oyster, which I have spelt wrong, there we go, means, the world is your oyster means the whole world is opportunities. So that feels, again, pretty reasonable. Give us another crossing letter here, but we've only just looked at that. We'll try and get another one, I think. What else have we got any other crossing letters we've not looked at? Just this E, I think, now. Wanted 25 sheets of paper in colour. There's almost certainly a name for 25 sheets of paper, which I'm sure that I don't know. Oh, I think I do know it, actually. So the one that I think a lot of people know is what 500 sheets of paper is called. a ream of paper. It's not just a wodge of paper, it is a specific number. And I think 25 probably has a similar sort of name. So here then, our positional pieces are 1, we've got a colon. Punctuation is always weird in cryptic crossword clues. Sometimes it is there to make it read nicely and wants to be completely ignored. Sometimes it is very specifically meaning something. I think here it is trying to make it read nicely, and it's having to do that because the definition is on one side of it and the wordplay is on the other, and there's no good way of linking them. So also the word in here, it makes me think that we're going to take our word for 25 sheets of paper, and we're going to have that, and then around that, bit on the top and a bit on the bottom, we're going to have a colour. So thinking, if wanted is our definition, what word would we want to put in here? And I think the word required would fit them, would do what we want. So 1, it's the right number of letters and has our crossing letter there. It's always a good start. 2, it's got a colour around the outside, R, E and D for red. And thirdly, I think I've heard the word choir before, Quire. We'll look it up in the dictionary, but I'm sure we're going to see that is 25 sheets of paper. Choir, a set of 4 sheets of parchment or paper. Well, it doesn't bode well. All right, let's have a look in Google instead. Choir meaning 4 sheets of paper or parchment folded to form 8 leaves. 24, of course it means 2 different things in terms of numbers of paper. I guess the 4 pieces of paper that's been folded gives you 24. No, it doesn't even do that. It gives you 16 sides if it's doing that. I don't know. But for some reason it can mean 4 sheets, 8 leaves, or 25 sheets. Of course, we have one word that means those 3 specific things about number of sheets of paper. That's truly an insane thing to have as 3 different definitions. Like we talked a minute ago about the different definitions of still, and at least where we had 3 definitions there, they were in no way related to each other. If you said to someone, pass me that quire of paper, and they passed you 8 sheets, and you looked at it and went, what? Where are the other 17? That'd be an insane conversation to have. Okay. Not very off topic, but wow. Right, what else have we got then? So we've got an R and a D as crossing letters. Company blocking sudden increase. That causes great suffering. I'm not seeing it. I'm imagining this means great suffering, and that causes just linking. And I'm thinking the company could be CO. If you're blocking something, then it could be, you could be barring it. And a sudden increase might just be something going up. Company blocking. Or what if blocking is positional? If you blocked a pipe, then something would be in the middle of that pipe. If company is blocking sudden increase, might the word company go in the middle? And if we're saying that, there's only 2 places it can go actually. It could go there, or it could go there. So on the basis that we think this, or company could be firm, which would also work with that R. So I think we're saying, do we think this one here is a C, an O, or an F? Should we have a look at it? 12 going up or down. I'm not sure what that's saying. Up or down feels to me like it might be a palindrome. a word that's the same backward as forward. But how could we make 12 with that or that or that? I think the double O is most likely, but 12 is what? It's a dozen. It's the Roman numeral XII. Like, I'm not seeing anything obvious there. Wild seas, wild flowers. So the word wild with this spelling could be an anagram indicator, and wild seas is 9 letters. So what kind of flowers or flower, could be a river, what kind of flowers can we see down here? Of note, it's singular, so where we've got an S or 2 S's, those probably aren't at the end, although maybe they are. Maybe the singular ends in an S or double S. There's a lot of E's, so it seems reasonable that might be an E, but maybe not. I'm not seeing it. Company beginning to extend town in Cheshire. Company could be CO, could be firm. Here, I think where there's only 5 letters, it's more likely to be CO. Unless there is a town in Cheshire that is called Firm, spelt like that. So firm, and then beginning to extend, similar to what we saw earlier with a finally something. It could be an E, and that could be a town in Cheshire. I think for this one, as soon as we get some of the wordplay, maybe through crossing letters, or as soon as we correctly pass what the definition and wordplay elements are here, this shouldn't be too difficult. Let's have a look at, let's assume this might be right and have a look at 20 down. Top expert receives millions. Okay, I suddenly dislike that because I can see what that one's going to be. A top expert, an expert is going to be an ace, and if that receives millions, or millions can be shortened to M, and I'm pretty sure that an Acme, as well as being the company that Wile E. Coyote gets everything from in Looney Tunes, pretty sure that an Acme literally means a summit of something. Let's have a quick look at that. The point at which something is its best or most high developed, so it's top, yeah. Okay. So that does kind of give rise to company, or maybe company beginning is just C, and then to extend might mean to lengthen, to stretch, to widen. Could that give a town in Cheshire? I'm not seeing it. Oh, I like this. Look at this one though. Oh, no, I don't. I was thinking a hood for cold bird. That could easily be a robin. Robin Hood being part of the definition, and a cold bird. Well, robins are traditionally or stereotypically seen in winter, so that feels like it could have worked. Except we're looking for 4 letters and robin has 5. Flag or sail hung awry. I think here we're looking for an anagram, some letters that we're treating in an awry way, of sail hung, meaning flag. And at least we've got a U here to back that one up. Oh, this isn't a flag as in a waving flag, a standard. This is if someone tires. So I think this is going to be languish. That looks good, doesn't it? That gives us an N here. Oh, so it is a palindrome. 12 is going to be the time. It's going to be noon. So yeah, we got that. It's amazing how much one crossing letter can help get a clue together. And that O makes me think that that could be our company there. And if that blocks a sudden increase, we've got then a 5-letter word for sudden increase. It might go around it like that. Okay, we've got a lot of these letters now, so let's have another look. Still. Could be a word for like a still picture or something. Not sure. Does this S do anything? Too fine after 1st of August. So 1st of August, again, could be the first letter of August, an A. So fine. Is there any way that the definition here could just be the word to? As well, yes. If something is fine, if it's great, you might say that it was swell. And if I understand this clue too, it means that as well as this other clue, I understand this clue. Okay, so that's fine. That's swell. Got 3 crossing letters down here now. We've already had a look at that one. Let's have a look at some that we haven't looked at yet. Seen that one. Rough, that's odd. Not seeing that. Time runs out. It's the end of the line. That feels very sensible as a phrase or a sentence. So I think out here is going to be an anagram indicator, and time runs is 8 letters. So that would make our definition, it's the end of the line. And looking at that and drawing on whichever season of The Walking Dead it is, I think terminus can mean the end of the line, as in it's the last stop on a railway or similar. I mean, it's in Latin, so I can't be sure, but I think that's a reasonable. That feels like it might be a way that we use it now. Let's have a look at terminus meaning. The end of a railway or other transport. Yeah, so at the end of the railway line. That's perfect. We've got a 4-letter word with an end crossing letter. Suffering with father at home. So here our positional word with is, I guess at feels like it could be positional as well. I don't think it is, but it feels like it could be. Let's come on to that one in a second. So here with, I think we're looking for either something that means suffering that goes with father, or this is separating the clue. Now, this is only 4 letters, so if we've got 2 things, then we're probably looking at 2 letters. Can we think of a 2-letter word that means father? I can think of maybe 2, da and pa. Neither one of those fits with an N. Can we make them work at the start? Or if that's the case, then probably this is the start of the wordplay, and at home would be the rest of the wordplay going after it here, and that would give us our definition. I think I'm being very clinical about these today, aren't I? I'm very much looking at the wording of the clues, but sometimes I think that's useful. So if we put the answer, by the way, I think is pain. So suffering, pain. We use the 2 together, pain and suffering. Pa is our father, and if you're at home, then you are in. You are not out. So that's what gives us that. What else have we got now then? Have we got any crosses that we've not looked at yet? Yeah. It's been many years since pine's been given a try. If you give something a try, then you give it a go, and it's many years since could be, feels very similar. So again, I'm not sure which side of this is our definition, which side is our wordplay, or if it's going to end up being I mean, I guess it can't be double definition, can I? And I guess actually I do know which side is the wordplay, because try is 2 words, and we're being told that this is 1 word. So if this is a go, then it's many years since pines, or it's many years since is our definition. And pine, on the surface reading, we're thinking of a tree, but pine has other meanings as well. If you pine for someone, you long for them. Whoop. And it's many years since means that that happened long ago. So, okay, got that. Rang the bell as instructed, say. So, rang the bell. I think we can just write, I'm just going to write this in. So if you ring a bell, you toll it. That is what it means. I think we'll get a couple of different meanings here. One is to ring a bell, and one will be sort of an effort or strain, or a charge, a number of deaths. Geez, starting out grim. The adverse effects of something. Okay, neither one of those. I guess burden is kind of what it is, isn't? Is kind of the same as the fee. It's a difficulty. Okay, so I can't see it there. Let's have a look at this one. Toll, said of a bell, and also the ringer. Yeah, so told is going to be the past tense of that. So rang the bell, and if you've been told something, if you've been instructed to do it, then the word say here is a homophone indicator. We're saying that the word for ringing the bell will sound like a word meaning as instructed. So yeah, told. Does this help now? Notice, speech. I mean, I'm thinking of advert. It's not right because the R's in the wrong place, but with those collection of letters, that's what I'm first thinking. Notice, speech, showing reverence. If you're showing something, you might... The word showing here, this is going to be super unhelpful. The word showing here could be read as a linking word, linking the definition and the anagram. If we're using it as positional, then I'd say if a word was showing another word, you'd have that word in the middle. So a word for speech in the middle of a word for reverence. But I'm not seeing it. Chaps covered with slippery tar on deck. I mean, slippery feels like it could be an anagram indicator. But tar on deck is not the right number of letters. Chaps and tar is not the right number of letters. Also, nothing has an N or an M. Slippery tar. I mean, slippery tar could be an anagram of tar. If we slip that around and then we cover that with something, maybe we've got like the R and then an A and a T. I don't think that's unreasonable. And then the bit in the middle might mean chaps, to give us the whole thing, meaning on deck. I'm not saying it, and I don't think that's what we've got. Are there any other words here that we've not looked at? Rough, that's odd. Hood for cold bird. Yeah, we've looked at everything on the across side at least. Let's have a quick look on the down side. Are there any that we've not looked at there? Police wrong to stop little nursery rhyme character. What could a little nursery rhyme character be? Bo Peep? Little Miss Muffet? And we've got the word stop again. What if we had the word wrong that was inside a little nursery rhyme character? So for example, if we had Little Bo Peep, and I'm using the O there to give me Bo Peep rather than Miss Muffet. What if we had a word in here that meant wrong? And can we make that mean police? Boss of Peep? No, definitely not right. Floral anagram, solve it. I mean, as a surface reading, like, it's both clumsy and brilliant. It's a clumsy wording for like a normal phrase, but it reads nicely as a, here's a clue, you need to solve it. Okay, so an anagram could just be an anagram indicator. Solve it is of note. 7 letters. Can we think of a word that means floral? Is the letters solve it? I think it's the last clue that we've got then. So if we can't get this one, we're going back to ones that we've looked at already. Not seeing it. Alright, let's try and find the answer to one of these we've already looked at. So it feels like this needs to be a vowel. So what consonants have we got left? L, S, we've not got the S, T, N, so double S. What if they went at the end and this was something less? Ah, that does help because we've then got an N left over, and that doesn't feel like it's possible as an N. And this one, if it is, we can see that might be motionless, which does mean still. Okay. And I like, with an S there in particular, I do like that still being co. So sudden increase might be a spree. That causes great suffering. I mean, spree doesn't feel good in that context, does it? Scopry. Oh. This anagram down here is going to be Edelweiss. So yeah, wild seas as an anagram giving us a flower. So Edelweiss I only know of from the musical Sound of Music. Grows on, it's an alpine flower, I think, isn't it? That gives us an S on what we think is an anagram of solve it. I don't know if these anagrams are particularly rough, but having some problems with the anagrams today, certainly. So, floral feels like it's very much an adjective, but it's finishing in an S. It doesn't feel like it's quite the same part of speech. Is there any chance we need to look at something slightly different? And I still think it's an anagram of solve it. What could it be? Oh, it could be violets, yeah. Which is floral in nature, obviously, but a little more tricky to... yeah, it's floral in nature, obviously, but I wouldn't say it's a direct synonym. Okay, so we've got a couple of crossing letters here now then. What can we do with this? It's a hood for cold bird. Oh, I do wonder actually, with that O, cold bird, might cold be C as in hot and cold? And might a bird be an owl? And that would give us cowl, which can be a hood. So in Batman, for example, the ensemble that he wears over the top of his suit, so to speak, especially in like the animated series, is referred to as his cape and cowl. So cowl for hood feels reasonable. Let's just look up cowl, but I'm confident with it. A garment with a hood, sure, yeah, good enough. We've also got double crossing down here, and this V feels like it's going to be very telling up here. Rough, that's odd. Uneven, yes, it's a double definition. So something is a roughly right, roughly hung, you might call it. Uneven, I don't know, it's not perfect in terms of me finding a synonym there, but I think that's reasonable. And if something is odd in terms of like a number on a dice, it's not an even roll. Okay, triple crossing here with lots of N and M's. That feels useful. Like the CE then. Company. I mean, COE feels less likely. So I do wonder if this is then company beginning just the C. Unless it's the beginning 3 letters of extend. Is there any chance that Coext is a town in Cheshire? I don't think so, but might come back to that. Hopefully we get this crossing letter down here. Chaps covered. Okay, well before we had this M and N here, which made it look possible that men was backward for some reason, but now we've got this. Tar on deck. Slippery tar. So chaps, men, covered with, so surrounded by in this case. Slippery tar. I mean, that feels like it could be something meant, doesn't it? Liniment? Or tar on, that gives us the N, doesn't it? So if we're anagramming these 5 letters, what do we get? Ornament. And if something is bedecked, then it's got ornaments. So might a deck be an ornament? Let's just look up deck and see if there's some reference to anything there. To clothe in rich or ornamental garments. Okay, I think that's reasonable. Another crossing letter up there as well now. Notice speech. Showing reverence. Reverence could be adoration. Let's put that in. Notice. Add. Speech, oration. So it's a charade. We've got the 2 bits together. Add, oration, and that shows, which in this case is linking, not indicating that something is inside, which I think is what we said earlier. Okay, looking good. Company, we've got our company now, blocking sudden increase. So 5 letters sudden increase, and that causes great suffering. I think great suffering is the definition. Oh, scourge. So Scourge. So we've got company, and that's blocking the word surge, which would be a sudden increase. Yes, that looks fine. It doesn't look like Bo Peep anymore, does it? To stop the word little. No, it doesn't look like it, does it? Because police, we haven't got the right letters. Again, stopping there, I was thinking putting inside something, so. But this is a 2-letter word in the middle, so this has to be in or an or on. Okay, what if this is a 3-word phrase that means police, like the verb? And then wrong could be a sin. And that's going to go inside a nursery rhyme character. Oh, it's boy blue, isn't it? Because that gives us the boys in blue, so it's... So police is the definition, but it's not a verb. So little boy blue is our nursery rhyme character. Little boy blue, sell me your yarn? I can't remember. It's been a while since I've done that nursery rhyme. So police is the boys in blue, or police are the boys in blue. Sin inside, yeah, that works. Okay, so this gives us... So beginning to extend is not EXT then. So classically it's usually just one letter, so beginning to extend could be this E. So we're looking for a 4-letter word that means company? Oh, is it crew? Because a company could be a crew. Is that in Cheshire though? I thought Cheshire was on the northwest coast, and I thought crew was on the northeast. Again, I'll say today about northern geography. What I said the other about African geography is not my strong suit. Where is crew? Let's have a look. Yeah, looks to be in one who I was thinking of. I think I was thinking of Hull or Harrogate. Not sure why. So yeah, it looks to be crew. Alright, let's stick that in, see what we get. Oh, excellent, we got there. Not too shabby. So is there anything in there that we really struggled with? I mean, there was some we found difficult, certainly. I don't think there's any in there that I didn't understand at the end. Although I will say that this one here had some tricky anagrams. I don't know, sometimes anagrams you see them, sometimes you don't. Today I definitely didn't for a while. So Edelweiss, violets, motionless. I think all of those were anagrams. Terminus we found okay though, didn't we? So those other 3 were tricky ones. But yeah, for the most part, again, another very fair cryptic crossword. For the most part, you know, these ones are good to cut your teeth on. I think they're a good secondary step. Lovett's, I always say, is the good first step. These are good as a second. And yeah, there's a couple more then that finding a good one for the next jump up is an interesting one. I think if you go on some of what you might call the harder ones, they are a big jump. So finding one that's sort of in the middle is a little bit tricky. So that was, I think we did okay on that one though. If you enjoyed the video today, then do like and subscribe. If you want to come back tomorrow, we'll be looking at probably another Daily Mail cryptic crossword. I'm conscious we've also got the Everyman coming up again. Recorded one of those last week, looking to do the same this week, I think. Yeah, if they get some views, I'll probably dig into the back catalogue on those a little bit. So until next time, thank you very much.